Ping makes some of the best game improvement irons out on the market. Well, today I'm testing the new PING G430 iron range. I'm going to hit some 7 irons inside the studio, and I'm going to take a full set out to Whitsun Bay, and I'm going to play a few holes with it, see if I can break par like I did when I did a Strixon review, and just give you my general thoughts and feedback on what I think about these irons. Now, these are designed for the game improver, so probably sort of like mid-teen handicap going up. But are these something that anybody could use? Just because it says game improvement iron doesn't mean that actual people who are low handicap can't use these irons. They're some of the easiest irons to hit when it comes to game improvement irons, so I'm really looking forward to testing these new ones out on the course. So while I get some numbers in the studio, let's head out to Whitsun Bay and actually put these irons in play and see what they're really like. Oh, okay, so we've come out to Whitsun Bay on a pretty chilly morning, but the sun is shining and it's a beautiful day, just a little bit chilly. So we've got the PING G425 irons out on course. I've got the 5 iron, the 7 iron and the pitching wedge. I'm going to play a par 4, a par 5 and a par 3 and just see what I can score with them, see what they're like actually out here on the course as opposed to what they did in the studio, which we'll go back to later. So 16th hole, it's a 350-yard par 4 here, so I would have thought slightly into breeze. It'll probably be a 5 iron and then a 7 iron and probably a chip around the green, because I'm probably unlikely to hit the green. So we'll just start off with a 5 iron and hopefully we can get somewhere down that fairway. No warm up. That's how we roll on this channel. It's a little bit heavy, but it's gone okay. Just going to feed down because it's dried off a little bit, so it's just going to feed down slightly onto the right hand side. That was a stiff swing, but to be fair, it went all right, so it's a little bit of testament to the golf club there. That was not a great start. So not done too bad actually. I've got about 160 yards in, which would have been where I'd want my 7 iron to be anyway. So I've got this 7 iron now. I'm looking down at these clubs a little bit, and you can definitely see the offset in them. And that always worries me that I'm going to slightly lose it to the right because I'm not a fan of offset. But what you do get is a really nice looking iron, and it's got that white line on the bottom here to help you frame that ball up a little bit. So it is a bit of a confidence inspiring club. Right, see if we can get anywhere near this green and give it a bit of a better swing than we just did. Come on, fade a little bit. Fade a little bit for me. That should be okay. Didn't hit all of it because these are a little bit stronger lofted. My 7 iron is a 165 and I was only about 160 out, so I did have to lay off on it. Just tried to sort of fade that into the left hand side. I'm hoping it's got there. Didn't quite make it, just a little bit short. Now normally I would putt this, lift clean and play still, but I just want to give this pitching wedge a little bit of a try, a little bit of a see how it feels around the green, because like I say, with pitching wedges it's highly important you get used to chipping around the green with these, because a little chip in one shot is a little bit underrated. Ooh. However, I've given myself a bit of a tricky putt. Right, okay, don't really want to be going 1 over if I can help it. A little bit further than I wanted. Little tap in for 1 over. Not ideal start, but what the pitch wedge felt, it felt lovely, really easy to hit around the green, but I should have potted that really. Right, second hole is our 8th hole here at Whitsun Bay. Another par 5, well this is a fast par 5. It is 466 yards from where I am, so it's probably going to be 2 5 irons and a pitching wedge, so it's set up perfectly for what this test is. What I'll say though, if the first hole is as nice as these are, they just look like the G425. Like I literally can't tell the difference. If I had a 425 and the 430 next to each other, I probably won't be able to tell the difference between them. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Because the 425 irons were really good, but then you think, what's the point in bringing out the 430? Great strike. It's just going to be left side of the fairway. Yeah, so left side of the fairway, you might see that bunker in the distance. It's probably just level with that. Pretty good strike. Probably started it too centrally and drew it round. Should have actually played for my draw. But feel off the face, they feel great. Like you're not not getting that clunky feeling that you would normally get from like a cast club. You're getting, it feels, don't get me wrong, it doesn't feel like a forged iron, but it doesn't feel like a clunky game improvement iron either. It feels actually quite nice and quite easy to hit. So as that was a little bit downwind, I've actually got a little bit less in than I probably anticipated. I probably got about 210, so I'm just going to hit a 7 iron, then hopefully give myself somewhere around about like an 80-yard pitch or something with that pitching wedge if I can, and then I'll go to a par 3 where I can hit a full shot with that pitching wedge. But overall the distance was pretty good with that. I will say though that as much as I've just said like there's not a lot of change in it, you are getting this poor flex technology on the back, and that's just there to sort of help the flex of the face, possibly to just give you a little bit more ball speed. But I think if you've got the G425 and this, I think you'd struggle to see any difference. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I can't really see a lot of difference, but didn't hit the fairway, so just caught the left hand rough here. So it'll be nice to see how this ball comes out of the rough. I will play for the draw, so just aim towards that gorse bushes on the right and try and draw it off it. And that's gone left as well. This is probably my only problem. Because of the offset, I'm just slightly pulling it to the left. Now I know a lot of that is obviously my swing path as well. I'm obviously clearly starting it more left than I want to, but because of the offset on the club as well, the face is just closing that little bit too much, so it's actually overdrawing a bit and I'm actually missing it left more than I want to. So that would be the concern for me with these clubs, is that offset. So I would have to sort of play more to the right for it or change my swing path. But, you know, I can do that. Right, so I've given myself 80 yards, which is what I wanted to give myself anyway. So this is going to be a pitching wedge, chip and run shot. Not, I'll be honest, my favourite type of shot, but perfect for this green because it all runs in and feeds down to the right where that pin is anyway. So we'll just give it a little go, hopefully not pull it left. Just need to get it on the ground and get it running. Oh, I didn't quite give it enough. So we've got a birdie chance here, but it's an outside birdie chance on this hill. I think I'll just be happy with a 2-putt par. Not the greatest starting direction with that chip, sadly. Right, let's walk off here with a par. Oh my God, how did that miss? Never mind, walk off with a par, let's go to the par 3. Okay, so we've come back inside and we're going to look at the numbers. So average ball speed 117.8, standard deviation 1.3, pretty consistent. A little bit low on there, but I kind of started getting into it a little bit once I warmed up a bit. Launch angle 15.8. Now this is low for a 7 iron, but you've got to remember this is stronger lofted, so it's probably more around about a 6 iron for what I would do. We look at the spin, 5,097, quite a tight standard deviation, so pretty good when it comes to consistency, which is what I'd want from a golf club, regardless of whether it's game improvement or a player's iron. So pretty tight standard deviation. 5,000 is where I would expect it for the loft of that 7 iron, but for a 7 iron, I'd kind of want it a bit higher. And because of the low launch and the low spin, we're therefore getting quite a low descent angle into the green, which in turn means it's not going to stop as quickly as you'd want it to. So, you know, you want it coming in above 45 degrees with about 6,500 spin, so it's going to stop on that green. Well, this is coming in at 43 with a low spin, so it's going to be difficult to stop. Because of all that, the peak height is only 28, so it's not very high, so it's not getting height, it's not coming in descending, so it all kind of marries up to being not a great shot into a green. And the distance of 117, my 7 iron goes about 165, this is going out about 170 because of the stronger loft. So you know, it's just not working for what I want it to do. And with a 7 iron, that's to come into the green and stop. I'm going to be 165, 170 yards out. I want to be attacking that green. And if I can't get the ball high enough and I can't get it descending with enough spin, it's just going to hit the green and roll over the back. And that's not what I want when it comes to a 7 iron. But that's in the studio. Let's go back out on course now and see how it's getting on out there. Okay, third and final hole, our 10th hole, par 3. It's about 120 yards, so perfect for this pitching wedge. Just an easy pitching wedge down there. What I will say so far from what I've tested are ease of use is definitely up there. The offset does sort of get me a bit, but that I'm a person who doesn't like a lot of offset. But if you're coming into this type of iron, you're going to want that offset because you're probably the player that would normally lose the ball to the right. So just having that bit of offset will delay the face being open and sort of just help the face close up, because that slight delay in it, and you'll be surprised how much those little offsets make when it comes to the face closure rate. Little pitching wedge, definitely nice clubs. They feel good, they do look good, don't get me wrong, all Ping clubs look good, but for me, I just don't see a great deal of difference between this and the 425, if I'm honest. And that's gone left as well. Greens are loving, running really nicely. So that should be a tapping part. Look at that view, by the way. Yeah, so a tapping par and 3 holes completed. And overall, I'm pretty impressed by them, but I was impressed by the 425 at the same time. The offset for me just is a no-no, but obviously, as you saw with that second shot, as soon as I slightly change the path a little bit, I can negate it, but I wouldn't want to because it's not swinging naturally for me. But I think if you're the type of person that's in the market for a game improvement iron that looks good, it feels good, and it sounds good as well, then, you know, go for the 430. But in all honesty, I'd probably get the 425. So interesting, out on the course, it actually performed pretty well, this golf club, but you know, it's winter, it's damp, it's gonna stop on greens, it's gonna perform pretty well, but when it's the summer, those greens are bouncy. That's where this kind of club worries me, is purely because I'm just not getting the height and the spin. Is it easy to hit? I've hit easier golf clubs, and I think in the game improvement market, there's better golf clubs out there. For me, the best one I've hit so far is still the Stealth. That's still the best game improvement, this type of iron I've hit. However, this looks superb. It's hard to say anything bad about this club because it performs exactly like you'd want it to perform, in the sense of it's going to get you a little bit more distance if you're like a slower swing speed. You know, the weight does help get the ball in the air, but it's just not performing for a 7-iron what I'd want it to do. But for the loft, you know, it performs pretty well. All in all, the G430 is a decent game improvement iron. It's just not the best one I've tested. But I'd like to know what you think about the G430 irons. Have you got the G425, and do you think there's a marked improvement on the G430? Personally, I can't really see it. It's difficult for me to be able to test the difference. I think they're pretty much similar. And if you're in this type of iron, are you actually going to feel any difference? I doubt that. You've got to be tour elite level players to find any sort of difference in clubs, especially when they're coming from the same family and the same kind of material background like these are. Or have you got the G430 and do you love them? I'd love to know down in the comments down below. If you are new to the channel, please do like this video, and also please do hit that subscribe button. This channel is starting to grow nicely, which is what I want it to do, and I've got loads more coming in the future when it comes to club reviews and following my progress as a PGA professional. So please do subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next video.